Hi there and welcome to Focus on Frisco. I'm Shannon Fallon, and despite the fact that I'm at the Marina store here at the Frisco Marina, it is not summertime yet. We still have plenty of winter left, which I'm going to be welcoming Sarah Skinner in to talk about that later in the show. But starting everything off, we're going to be talking about the Big Dig, all the things that are going to be happening here at the Frisco Marina in the next couple of months, if you can believe it, so that when summertime rolls around and the June 1st Rock the Dock rolls around, everything is going to be ready and welcoming. So stay with us right here on Focus on Frisco. Thanks again for staying with us here on Focus on Frisco. Again, I'm Shannon Fallon, and as mentioned before, I have Jenn Shimp here, the guest services manager with the Frisco Marina, and I have Chris Guarino from NV5, project manager, and we're going to talk a lot, well, the whole time, about all that's going to be happening here at the Marina in the next couple of months. It's called the Big Dig, and it sounds exciting, doesn't it? So Jenn, why don't you give us an idea of what the Big Dig means?
So the Big Dig idea came about quite a few years ago when this bay is very shallow. We have restrictions on our water availability at different water levels. The water levels, as you know, in this bay go up and down, and a lot of our boat owners and people who utilize this marina have issues accessing the lake at different water levels. So the Big Dig intention is to excavate the lake down to a certain water level so that we remain operable for a longer period of time. What this does is we are going to excavate down to 16 feet of depth at full water levels in our southernmost bay, and then have a new launch ramp going to that area. This will allow our sailboats and our power boats to access the lake and utilize their spaces for a longer period of time. As well as we're going to take a channel. We have lots of kayakers and canoers who love to utilize this end of the lake because it's beautiful, and to allow them access to water with a less of a walk during an earlier part of the season.
Well, a lot of you probably remember the end of the season last year, that it was getting a little hectic.
Yes.
We had some really low water levels, and I remember having an interview with Tom as we started to talk about this master plan, this Marina master plan, and we really tried not to touch on the water levels too much because they were dropping fast. Right. And so this is one of the ideas of this whole thing, is to alleviate a lot of that.
It does. We are currently 26 feet down, which isn't a ton in the realm of what water we can get. It does allow us to do this excavation work while it's dry, which is wonderful. And the projections right now is we will fill this year, so it's go time, and we're looking very excited about this. A lot of this project was brought around with the community's input and support, and we spent all of last year really dialing down to what everyone wanted. And so the master plan was developed at kind of this pretty picture here of what the marina and this bay should be in the future, the next 10, 20 years, a master plan to get to where we want to be. And this was brought about by community outreaches last year, stakeholder meetings, anyone who wanted to give their input on what they wanted to see, the amenities that they thought were important down here, and a lot of staff work of how can we make this function easier for both our long-term guests and our short-term visitors who really make this marina a well-functioning, profitable marina.
Right. Now you've been with the town for a while, and I know that you've been in the area for a while. To think about 10 years ago, that this was even like something that we would need to think about is fascinating, because it's just a whole new game. And that's one of the things, Chris, that I wanted to just kind of touch on you. Your company really focuses, you know, when you go to your website, I think it was really cool because one of the quotes that was on it was how important it was to make it sustainable and really forward thinking. That's kind of where you guys land, is making sure that you're trying to cover all those bases as you look into the future. And what do you, when you guys started doing this, what was that thought process for you guys?
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you very much. And Just say very quickly, if I can, as a Frisco resident and a longtime customer here at the Marina, I couldn't be more proud to be serving our great community on this exciting project. So to your point, though, NV5, we're very focused on sustainable construction and doing projects that improve the lives of our communities, community members, wherever we may live and work. This project was particularly exciting for us, first of all, because of the high-profile nature and because of the services it provides to our community. But one of the exciting things about it, if you consider from a sustainability standpoint, we're moving a lot of dirt here. About 85,000 cubic yards of soils will be moved over the next 60, 90 days. So it's a lot to do in a short amount of time. However, not one single truck will leave the marina with any of those spoils. It is all being repurposed right here on site. If I may talk to the image a little bit. Now, please keep in mind, this is a master plan. This is including future phases, so this will not look like this come June 1st. But essentially, the majority of the excavation, the big dig, will occur here in what Jen mentioned is referred to as the South Bay. A lot of those spoils will be brought around, and if for all those community members, and especially for the ones with little kids who love our beach here, the beach is going to be expanded upon substantially. A lot of the spoiled dirt will go over and build that section up, as well as build up our section for our paddle area, for the kayaks and rowers and so forth. And then additional spoils will be brought across the north side of the bay, building up the shoreline over by the Summit Middle School. Chasing that big dig portion of the work, it will be a separate contract, but the work will be very much overlapping. What we're calling phase one will be after all the dirt work is achieved. The asphalt and concrete to dress up the site will follow. So curb and gutter, paving the actual boat ramp, which will be reconstructed. So really quite exciting. As far as some events along the way, although there is gear here, we're mobilized, we're ready to go, probably start here in the next week or so. But we are planning a groundbreaking that the community would be welcome to attend. We're anticipating it right now the first week of March. Haven't nailed the date just yet, but it's coming up here soon. It'll be a fun event out here. Then, for a little bit larger scale, on April 4th, we're planning a community event. Not sure the official name yet, but we're dubbing it as a touch the truck, come out, see the gear, see the heavy equipment, and see the great progress that we're having out here at the marina. And then, of course, work will continue March, April, May, and by the time we get to June 1st, Jen and the Marina will be having a fantastic celebration here for Rock the Dock, and we plan on cutting a big, bright red ribbon at the top of the boat ramp to celebrate that event and kick off the season on June 1st. So lots of exciting things happening.
I think it's amazing, and just looking out there thinking now where it's 4 below and all of those things, but looking to the future that this is a possibility by the time June 1st rolls around. Yeah. I mean, it's really exciting. So you guys are, after that ribbon cutting in the beginning of March, you guys are on it. You're in.
We're in. Would you like to speak to that, Jen?
So our goal is to be fully functioning throughout this whole process, and especially June 1st is kind of our date where water levels are expected to come up. We are expected to fill as long as it keeps snowing, which is in the forecast to continue doing. So that's amazing. We are going to be fully functioning. We're going to be renting boats, storing boats. The bond sale for this project was amazing, and the amount of support that both our community and the public at large feel about the confidence in this marina of taking care of that $6 million bond sale that was done in 15 minutes.
Insane.
So we will be functioning and running and doing our full business.
And that's how it was funded. That was what it needed in order for all of this to happen.
Yeah.
And just to kind of touch on that a little bit more, because I think it's really important to know how it was being funded, because people obviously are curious about that, but also as you touched on, the confidence in the community and people who, whether they're Denver residents or Summit County residents, to think, yeah, this is going to pay itself back.
It is. So this project was funded by revenue bonds. And so what that means is that The marina itself will pay back the loan or on these bonds on its revenue. So we will make a payment each year based upon what we make. And the confidence in myself and the staff we have here that we can do this was amazing and very nice to feel that everyone has that confidence in this marina and in us.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I can't remember, did they have an estimated as to when it was going to be paid back? Did they say, oh, we think it's going to go in?
I know the bond sold in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't think that was expected.
Right.
The bond details were out there, and it's a payback period over a certain period of time with our ability to pay more onto it without penalties, as far as I know. My big goal is to make sure we make that payment, which we feel we can do and surpass. And
are you guys getting much, and I know that again, this is kind of just in that first process because we haven't even broken ground, but are you getting any thoughts from people who are, as they start to look at putting their boats here or some of the new activities, are you getting feedback from anybody yet?
I am. Bills were due this year, this week or last week for this upcoming summer. And many of our kayakers and canoers are super excited about a specific area that's closer to the water, has better access for them, and our slip holders with the bigger boats are really excited to have that extended season where they can get in the water earlier, they can stay on their slips longer, and then they can pull out of the water a little bit later. It gives them just more time to get on the water, and they're very excited. We are having a brand new gangway down, building some new dock improvements. Phased out, we're looking at electricity and water and having a wonderful amenity with a deeper reservoir area in this bay that everyone has asked for quite a while. And it's very exciting. We have been constrained here for many years on where we can go and what we can do because we only have so much land. Part of our 2020 project is to build a new office retail building that will go on to the land that we're building here. It's about 3 acres of brand new land that come from the reservoir that we didn't have before, had no access to actually use. So we have this nice little spot here that we can put all sorts of things on. The plan right now is definitely for a new office building.
I don't know why. It's so cozy in here.
It is very cozy. And
And
something a little bit more holding the heat.
Right.
Historic buildings are lovely, but not so much in the wintertime.
Right.
As well as future phases once they get approved and funded, a new restaurant location, a splash pad, just more land for people to enjoy. So we're really looking forward to this amenity. There will be a sidewalk across the boardwalk. It'll be a destination park for people to come to. And I'm very excited about this whole endeavor.
And when you start to talk about some of those other phases, what does that entail? I know that they're not all set out right now. This will take some time. But what does that mean as so we finish up the big dig and get everything kind of squared away where it needs to be this summer. What is the next step?
So obviously phase 1, as Chris alluded to, is to build the ramp, get that sidewalk connection to what we have, and then the future phases are working on that 3 acres of land that we now have and really focusing on the new building, a new restaurant, the landscaping, and the other amenities, a splash pad, and we're still, involving the community in each of these phases.
Right, and that was one of my questions. And then, are you seeing any thoughts of transitioning into the winter? I see this little picture down here of the splash pad turning into skating and things like that.
Yeah.
These are all the ideas, as Chris pointed out, that this was kind of that big picture. But is that where you're starting to see some of these things happen?
Right. This marina is so popular, even in the winter, with nothing really happening down here. We have a lot of people who walk and just want to see the area. The lake is beautiful in the winter, pristine white, covering all this snow. So we really do see the marina becoming a year-round, full-time destination. And to do so requires a little bit of infrastructure work. The bathrooms in the new retail building will certainly assist with that. Having a new restaurant in the future, being more of a year-round full-time area will
that's
also
interesting.
assist with that. And
Yeah.
then that splash pad, you know, utilizing that in the winter, being able to have some amenities here that people can utilize. Again, keeping the marina financially viable, finding ways to entertain our guests here at the end of Main Street where everyone wants to come.
Yeah. Well, it sure is beautiful. Yeah. Chris, and maybe you can touch on this a little bit. You know, as your company, NV5, was brought in to take care of a lot of this, was it, I'm assuming that you guys worked together on choosing the construction company.
Yes.
And I know it ended up being a local construction company.
Mountain region, by all means.
exactly.
Yep. So no, it was a very thorough procurement process. We were thrilled to be brought in to work with the team. The town already had some great resources with Jen and Tom and some others that established a really good RFP and got that out to the market. We arrived for the bid comparison, the interview process, and the contract award. So we did, in fact, wind up with a wonderful excavation company. So welcome Schofield Excavation to the team. A lot of their employees live right here in the county. Their project manager lives over in Summit Cove. They've got their own yard over in Breckenridge off Tiger Road. Very much local presence, big presence over in Gypsum as well. So we're excited to be working with them.
And as you looked at it, and we talked a lot about the sustainability, that nothing was going to be taken off site, but rather used elsewhere. Is that something that you saw in this company that they were open to doing? If that makes sense.
What we saw, you know, as a function of design, the soil staying on site was, you know, really mandated by the design that was implemented by our fantastic engineer over at Martin Martin. But this company really, they arrived to the interview process seemingly really understanding the needs that Jen and Tom and the operations here had. Very much a sensitivity to our wonderful community, the high-profile nature of this project, the critical timeline, the focus on sustainability and protecting the water quality. And I mean, they just came in with such a well-rounded plan. They impressed the group, and it was pretty easy to award the contract to them.
Oh, that's very exciting. So let's go over a couple of dates again. We're looking at the first week of March as kind of the ribbon cutting, where
Groundbreaking.
excuse me,
Yep.
the groundbreaking.
We'd love to cut the ribbon.
Yeah, you know, can't you do it? We're just a couple weeks away. You're fine. So as the groundbreaking, so. It's going to, people are going to really start to see things happening. As you mentioned, the trucks are down here. You can see things are kind of roped off and you're getting ready. You're poising yourself for that. So what can people expect to see? And again, Jen, as you mentioned, we like to come down and look, but it's not like we're actively using this space. What can people expect to see in the next couple of weeks and even months? And then we'll start up until about April 4th. Let's talk about that first.
Well, you touch on an important point. I'll start if you want to add to it. But I did want to mention today there's obviously a lot of excitement. We're all curious. We're all going to want to see what's going on down here, and our faithful dog walkers and our community exercise walkers and so forth. There's always a lot of activity down here, as Jen mentioned. Please be careful. This is now considered a construction site, and we do have the active area fenced off, but there's just an excessive amount of trucks. There will be large loaders. There will be some gear moving around the site, and curiosity gets the best of us all, and I know we're all going to want to come look, but please keep a safe distance. Please don't get near any of that equipment unless they see you walking, especially if your dogs aren't on a leash or something like that. So just tread lightly. We'll do everything we can to push out information and keep you updated. Having said that, what you will see starting fairly quickly is as they approach a section to excavate, they will first clear the snow, allowing, of course, to free up the soils, and then the excavation will start. The plan is actually they're going to start digging at the lower elevations. So as the water comes up in May, they're further away. So what we'll start to see is beyond the facilities that everyone's familiar with, what currently is a little bit of wetlands and looks like marshland right now, that's where the work's going to start. And you'll see the excavation happening, loading up trucks that stay on site and bring it around to the other locations. Actually, I should start with what will happen concurrently with that, and maybe even as the first step, is relocating the large block wall. The large block wall that's there, right next to the current boat ramp, will be reused in two separate locations. The one being, and this is just going to be this beautiful walkway along the water's edge near the boat ramp. Nice, this will just be flat graded this summer. There won't be any buildings there. But the wall will move over here, and then that whole area becomes beach. And then there'll be some more, smaller wall over by the paddle area. So that's the main stuff. Block wall moving, dirt moving, and lots of equipment.
And lots of equipment.
Yeah.
And that being said, that's when April 4th kind of comes into play. And you guys have kind of set that out as Touch the Truck Day.
Yeah.
Where you really will welcome, everything's going to be in a much safer way.
Yes.
But really will welcome everybody to come in and see what's happened so far. Ask questions, look around, touch the trucks.
That's it.
Right.
Yep, we'll make sure the site's essentially shut down for a few hours and everything will be placed, and we're going to try to make a fun event. Contractor, town, everybody just partnering together to make a nice event to get adults and kids alike in here to come check out things and have a little bit of fun.
We all love big trucks.
We sure
And
do.
then, Jen, let's talk a little bit about what happens on June 1st. One of everybody's favorite days of the year.
June 1st is our kickoff party. Rock the Dock. Every year we kind of kick off our season with a live band. For our tenants here who keep a boat with us, we offer lunch to them, as well as all of our locals and all of our visitors get a discounted, the Island Grill does a burger and beer deal at a discounted rate for that day. The live band, of course. And then this year will be added the ribbon cutting on our brand new ramp, which I'm so excited about. It'll be 3 lanes wide with a ADA pier down the middle. Eventually, if that doesn't come in quite on that date, but the lane
3 lanes?
3 lanes wide. So it's going to be much bigger, allow
That's
better
amazing.
access. Yeah.
I had no idea, honestly.
Yeah, backing
Wow.
up will be easier. We're changing this roundabout. It's going away. It'll be moved over into this South Bay. So as you enter the marina, you don't have to make turns in a truck. You just go
Right.
straight down, one turn around, and back up into the lake.
And so for those of us who don't back up a trailer very well, can you offer me all 3 lanes just in
You're right.
case?
And we only need 3 lanes on certain days.
Okay,
So
cool.
if you get here early, I always recommend, if you're new to backing up a trailer,
Yeah.
come first thing in the morning, fewer people to watch.
Yeah, exactly. So that's June 1st is when that Rock the Dock is going to happen. It's been going on for years. It's so exciting. It's really, it kind of gets us in that flow, in that feeling. But I want everybody to write these dates down and then certainly call and talk to the town, ask questions, but more importantly, stay involved as these next phases start. I mean, because this is really, it sounds like everything is not set in stone, so that there's still the chance for, some thoughts and ideas about what could be next on all of this.
Yep, and definitely the funding for it. We have the major work is the excavation, getting that dirt moved when we have the opportunity to do so, which happened this year.
And that's incredible, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Mother Nature helps.
right?
did.
It's frustrating at the end of last season, but wow, did it work out well for you guys this year.
It did, and the construction company really understood our needs to get started on this project as soon as they possibly could and get it done, because the forecast is looking great. We're supposed to fill, and from people I know who research this kind of thing, we're looking to move out of this cycle, and we wouldn't have this opportunity to do this again for many years. So the ability to do that this year and to get this excavation work done is huge, and it was something that we desperately needed. And so this company is on board with getting the dirt moved for us, building the land we need, and making it ready so when the water comes up, we're not needing to be in the lake anymore, and that the lake work is done. And then we can take our time and really focus on what does this ground and this land look like, going off the master plan that so many people put their efforts into. A lot of you put your information down, was really involved in this project, and we love that information.
That's awesome. And I love that a lot of the men and women who are going to be working on the construction live here, because I bet they're as excited as we are to get it all open. So that's motivation as well.
It's amazing how many people you realize own boats or
Right.
have a kayak
I know.
or utilize this marina, and all come and said, I'm so excited to be part of this because I get to help make it, better, and really do these improvements to this marina, and everyone is passionate about it, and it's a lovely feeling as part of this community.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to thank you guys, number one, in advance for the hard work, for what you've already done, for what's coming in the future. And certainly I have to say thanks to the community for being so supportive of it, whether it was through your ideas and thoughts or the bond. I mean, this just speaks so highly of the anticipation of what this can be in the coming years. And I think it's really cool.
And thank you for your support. Continue sending, of course, people here to send out boats, because all of this is funded by this marina and what you guys do, sending our guests up here to rent boats and keep your boats here. And so to continue this work, we just get to continue doing what we do for you.
Yeah. And on that note, I'm just going to touch, if you want to rent boats, I would suggest getting online and doing it soon, because they rent out, sell out fast, especially as we get into those holiday weekends. And again, as Jen mentioned, this is what you're going to see all of there out there. But make sure that you get in early and make your reservations, because it's a great place to be. I guarantee it. All right, Jen and Chris, thank you guys so much for your time. I know you're both busy with all of this, so I really appreciate you taking it a couple of minutes. If anybody has questions, of course, call the town, get a hold of everybody and ask the questions. But we will really want to see you. Keep in touch about that first week of March, about when we're going to start to break the ground, and then on April 4th, make sure you come down so you can see everything in living color. All right, you guys. We're going to take a quick break right here on Focus on Frisco. When I come back, Sarah Skinner is going to be joining me to talk about some of the things that are finishing up in the winter as we talk about the summer. So stay right with us.